Okay, so this is actually the first game to be played in the Ladder Wars, the first Ladder Wars tournament. This is TigerStyle up here in the red as the Deathsworn, and JustPlainSavage down here as the Green Renegades. So if I do put these games up, it will be because I found something interesting to say in them, but I'm not sure if I will, because I do not know these races incredibly well. But this is actually a matchup that TigerStyle has said that he finds incredibly hard. So it'll be interesting to see his difficulties in dealing with these armies. First Orc Scout coming up here quite well. Very standard build. So many people are going to be playing Renegades in this game. We're going to get to see this build done a lot. This is now going to make that first Harvester. And then he will put power up and probably start decking. I'm interested to see if he goes for the same rocket helicopter spam as Zerton does. This is also pretty standard as the Orcs. This is the build that I have seen people doing most, that I have sort of started to copy on a map like this, where you can get to your first expansion with this without throwing down a farm. It can be really good. Nice spread of units coming out here from JustPlainSavage as well. Lots of patrol. And JustPlainSavage is going to be the first to push out on the map here. Going for this, which I believe is the air building of the Orcs. So that's balloons, and I assume he is essentially doing sort of what I'm doing. And what I was doing is sort of preparing for that big helicopter spam coming in. But we can actually see from JustPlainSavage it's not going to be that. It's going to be this tank rush, which JustPlainSavage is known for doing quite a lot. So actually some archers getting caught out there. And rocket infantry coming up bridge, going to try and hit this guy. Yep. And here we go. Here's some dragons coming out. I'm interested to that he's going straight for dragons, so that he can try and get. I assume he's going for it for the anti-air, but then he has these ogres here as well to tank the ground. He has some rogues running around. But this is where JustPlainSavage's sort of strategy starts to come in. He's got 3 factories now, just pumping out tanks. He's going to have this really big army of tanks to go in. The little cars even to check up the ramp for him so he can get the vision. And I think the rocket infantry should actually kill those dragons pretty quickly. I think, yes, what you can see he's doing, which seems like the sensible thing to do, is to go for these catapults. Archer catapult dragon seems like a decent comp for fighting against these. I don't know all of the specs of this, but there is no air coming out. So this is actually very interesting. This is kind of cool that we get to see this, because this is an entirely different style of play from what we saw Zerton doing. This is super aggressive, tank focused build, whereas if you remember the games between me and Zerton, Zerton essentially only got tanks in the period before he could tech to artillery. And really nice splitting as well here, where he's actually sending both of his armies in. This is essentially a sacrificial army now. He's just going to try and do a load of damage up here while he's got this other army going up to the top. This is the sort of thing which, as a Marines player, I really find annoying to deal with, when people split your army up, when your whole sort of strength is having this big army together. That sort of the sort of strengths of this dragon army, you know, these dragons, they do more damage as they sort of keep that fire breath going. The real strength is that tar, whatever it is, it's that huge slow that keeps them in your range and stops you from pushing out. And so they really want to be in this sort of grouped together clump where they can sort of have the ogres tank a bit, have the catapults slowing, and then have the archers just dealing that big damage, and the dragons, of course. But they ran balloons now. They really sort of can't, because they're getting attacked at each side. Whenever this big army does its damage, look, he's just coming in on the entire other side. And you know what, this is actually kind of useful, because this play here that JustPlainSavage is doing is the sort of play that does work incredibly well against Marines. And it seems Deathsworn have some of the same problems here, you know, where really to be effective he wants his army to be in one big clump. You know, he has a big strong army, but when he's getting just pulled apart like this, he can't have them all fighting at one point. And look, JustPlainSavage just leaves. Just absolutely leaves. Picks up and just goes, goodbye. He might be able to do a bit more micro, but I think he's just trying to deal some damage here. And look at this. All of this because he's lost this backwards expansion. He hasn't actually put an expansion up here. So he actually has no economy. TigerStyle literally just has what he has, essentially. This split up army, not going to do good at all. And here come those rocket copters, coming to finish off the job late game. Make sure there's probably the strongest unit that they have. He's then got some artillery as well, which can now outrange these, so one of their range advantages sort of goes down. And it looks like TigerStyle is going to sort of try and just cross the map and fight, because I assume he knows that he can't win this in a long game anymore. Look at this. These refineries. He's got 4 refineries going. This is ridiculous late game economy for an armies player. He just does not care at this point, and I think TigerStyle is just going in for that last desperate attempt. But look at this. He has just archers. Neither of these can hit up. His dragons, which have some of his other anti-air, are over here. But he hasn't prepared at all for anti-air because there hasn't been any. He's needed to defend against tanks before this, and now these choppers are just ripping through his catapults. This is a disgusting sight to see someone getting pulled apart this much, and TigerStyle is refusing to leave. Keeping it up while he's still got some breath in him, but as you can see down here, it's not too long to go. So I think I'll call this game 1, and I will look into some of the further replays.